Hello, today we're going to be learning to do this simple composition using background and foreground using some leaves and florals. So the first step is to create your background layer. Here I'm using a very light yellow, very extremely watery layer of gouache is what I'm using. It almost looks like watercolors. I like the blend of the background this way. You can make it extremely creamy if you want to. If you're doing that, just make sure that your background has fully dried before you go ahead and add in your foreground. One way to do that is just use the touch technique. You can either use your brush, tap it onto the background, see if any color is coming over your brush, or you can use your tissues. You can also use your fingers, but then make sure that your hands don't get too dirty while you're painting. So the next thing I'm doing is creating my leaves. So over here, what I'm doing is this technique which I call it as sleep and wake up. So you make your brush sleep and then you wake it up towards the edges and towards the ends. So both the ends of your leaves are going to be a little pointy, so I like doing this one. I have used white and green mixed together to create a semi-creamy blend of gouache. It's not fully creamy, so it's not completely opaque. Why I'm doing this is because I don't want a completely flat finish of my leaves. I want a little bit of texture to it. Creating these leaves is very therapeutic. I absolutely love doing this whenever I feel a little dull, I feel bored, or I feel a little down. This is my go-to technique for cheering myself up, and this has helped me a lot. In case if you are one of those people who do try this, and if you've tried it before, do leave a comment over here and let me know your experience of the same. In this composition, I've used only one style of leaves. If you want, you can use multiple styles, but sometimes this is very nice, especially if you're practicing. This is a really easy technique to do for also your sketchbook practices. So you can, in this particular style of gouache, you can use it on 200 GSM sheets, you can use it on 180 GSM sheets. 300 GSM is perfect if you're doing multiple layers, and also if you're going to be using a little more water in some of the background techniques that you're doing. So 300 is always a safer bet as compared to the rest. The next step is to create some florals. So what I've done over here is I'm mixing a little bit of blue and white, and this is a pretty opaque texture that is coming in. So you will notice that the different kinds of brands that you use for your gouache will have different pigments for your various colors. So some of them will be very watery, some of them will have a very opaque texture. So it's always a good idea to create a swatch sheet of all of your colors and keep them. You can create your swatch sheet of your regular colors the way they come out of the tube or the bottle, and you can also mix whites with all of them individually and create that. So this will give you a really good idea of the translucency, and it'll give you a good whenever you're creating a nice painting, you will have a good idea of whether you want to use the color directly as it is, or you want to mix another white or black or some other color along with it and use it. I'm adding some finishing touches right now for the florals by adding tiny leaves below it, and with that my composition would be ready. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Do recreate the same thing, and you can tag me on Instagram, and if you have recommendations for any other things that you would like to see on this page, then do leave a comment over here. Thank you so much. See you in the next tutorial.